Iverson, one of the realest. Straight from one of the best Ave, straight from Phillips. Nice, cool, crispy night tonight. Very happy to be live. And of course, the marquee tonight is a lot of people are talking. The buzz around the industry is obviously 50 Cent right now. Get started. I'm gonna put on my gloves real quick. Nice, cool night tonight. That is correct. 50 Cent dropped a documentary. Brand new documentary. Is a whole bunch of reaction about this documentary. A lot of people are talking about this documentary, about 50 Cent's documentary, the reaction. And actually, he was also sent some flowers. Those flowers are actually daisies. That is correct. Greatly appreciate all the support at Photography Plug. You can always go to $ at Photography Plug. Support black entrepreneurship. I greatly appreciate everybody that has been, supporting Photography Plug. So nice. A Saturday night here, obviously. Very nice, cool, crispy Saturday night. Nice evening tonight. I greatly appreciate all the support. The marquee tonight is Sean Diddy Combs and the reaction of 50 Cent's new documentary. Now, it is rumor, we don't know 100% sure, that 50 Cent was sent some flowers to the club in Miami. He was in a club in Miami, and he was around 11 o'clock. He was sent some flowers that happened to have some daisies. Guys, we don't promote violence on this page in any shape, form, or fashion. But those daisies usually remember one thing. And we always start by saying one of the press was started by a great American citizen, obviously. That was Al Capone. And one of the guys, Al Capone, said once, yes, I come from a rough neighborhood. And you get a lot farther with a kind word and a gun than you can with just a kind word. Now, 50 Cent has never been convicted of a felony, as far as I know. I don't think 50 Cent has did much of anything as far as crimes, and that is a good thing. But he did paint Sean Diddy Combs as one of the more influential people that ever existed. I mean, he painted Sean Diddy Combs as being one of the worst criminals that ever existed in America. 50 Cent became almost top cop. 50 Cent eventually became top cop by help prosecuting and help keeping Sean Diddy Combs incarcerated. That is correct. Hello, my friends. I'm always good to see you. Always. This is nice BMW there. This is not the Rock Nation. In many years, people try to contact the Rock Nation, and guess what? No answer. Guys, so we're here for that. Anytime you want to talk to us, we'll talk back. But the marquee tonight is, that very marquee, is 50 Cent. His new documentary tells all. 50 Cent tells everything. I mean, 50 Cent is kind of like a tattletale in a sense. He went to the other side. 50 Cent said, no, he's not a gangster rap anymore. He's 50 years old. And now he's helping keep Sean Diddy Combs behind bars. And that is the reality of what 50 Cent did. I mean, I don't think that Sean Diddy Combs' credibility was very low in the first place. Sean Diddy Combs' credibility was so very low. Yes, his credibility was so incredibly low. And so I don't think he had anything to lose. But 50 Cent had so much to lose. But I think his personality or his advisors did not tell him, look, 50, this might not be a good idea. I mean, yes, it's a good documentary, but really telling the same story over and over and over again. The Tupac Shakur story is the reality of Tupac Shakur was a different reality in 1996. You got to understand, a lot of people were teenagers. That is correct. So Sean Diddy Combs was not the only one mad at Tupac Shakur, my friends. Any and every fan was upset at Biggie Smalls because Biggie was excuse my language, he was bodying Tupac, Who Shot You, and different artists, different records. Biggie Smalls was just destroying kind of who could dare stand up to Tupac Shakur in 1996 was the only one, was Biggie Smalls. And not many people, that is correct, not many people, excuse me, not many people thought Sean Diddy Combs was a threat for many, many years. And that's why he was always at the Met Gala. That's why he was always at these public events, because Sean Diddy Combs was never considered a threat. For many, many, many years, Sean Diddy Combs was just looked at as a whack rapper. Well, let's be sincere and honest. And eventually, he started becoming better and better at his craft. I mean, him and if you listen to the old records of Biggie Smalls, and I'll be answering these comments very soon. If you look at these older records of Biggie Smalls and Sean Diddy Combs is in the back talking about the Federal Bureau of Investigations. He's saying all of the things that right there on the record, but nobody ever believed Sean Diddy Combs was capable of doing any type of crimes. Now, he was only convicted of a few, and that's trafficking, I think, kind of like interstate, you know what. Sean Diddy Combs did in fact, yes, he did in fact, was convicted of these crimes. Sean Diddy Combs was convicted of these terrible crimes, actually. What a amazing, beautiful night it is tonight. I hope you're doing well tonight. We're trying to stay live as long as we can. I know we might not have this huge crowd like we usually do. Not a lot going on in the industry, but we're trying to move forward, and I hope you're moving forward in your business and your ideas. I hope that you are staying positive. If you're an entrepreneur, and especially a black entrepreneur, brown entrepreneur, Hispanic entrepreneur, and even a white entrepreneur, whatever, a Chinese, Japanese entrepreneur, it doesn't matter. But it is a difference between a lighter or whiter entrepreneur or photographer or doctor or pilot. Shouts out to my own very family, my brothers and my sisters. I hope everybody's doing well. Obviously, my beautiful mother. Guys, a nice crispy night. It's like a Washington, D.C. type of feel out here tonight. Feeling really good about what's going on with Photography Plug and artificial intelligence. But the marquee tonight, very important. Sean Diddy Combs, the reaction of that very long documentary. 50 Cent switched sides and said, no, he's top cop, mayor. That's right. If you're the mayor, my friends, you are top cop. That is just the reality of any position, of any mayor in this city. The constant, you'll be sworn in by a judge. If you are the mayor, you'll be eventually sworn in by the judge, and the Constitution of the United States will be backed by that. Obviously, many people are talking about even Rick Ross running for mayor, but obviously that's a demotion for Rick Ross. Obviously, huge, record sales and very popular off of musical. And 50 Cent also, but 50 Cent hasn't really dropped any new albums that actually sold a lot of records. Now, Go Shorty If Your Birthday was one of his accolades, actually one of his best records. Go Shorty It's Your Birthday, and I did enjoy, as my daughter coming home one day and Go Shorty It's Your Birthday. But those days have moved on. Now 50 Cent has changed his whole script with this new documentary. He tells all. I mean, he must have went up, knocked on the Federal Bureau of Investigation's door and said, hey, I want to be a Fed. If you notice 50 Cent's suits sort of kind of look like, what's that guy that's out on the West Coast? I can't think of his name. Big U. Remember, Big U is he's a great individual person, but I mean, he was a self-professed head Crip. Big U was, and he is. But Big U actually turned himself in with his mom, so that kind of discredited kind of what you're about. If you are the head of any organization, I wouldn't care if if you were Jeff Bezos, you're the head of Amazon, and you turn yourself in with your mom, your credibility kind of goes down. I mean, just turn yourself in with yourself or stand up for what you represent, that being who you are. And I think 50 Cent is more so, when I'm talking about Big U, I'm talking about the suits and the things. The swagger is not quite there with 50 Cent anymore. The credibility, obviously, is not quite there with 50 Cent. What we were talking about previously, 50 Cent had street credibility. All that goes out the door. I guess it's about time. He's 50 years old. You don't want to have to worry about what street credibility is at 50 years old, and especially being escorted by more than likely police officers is what 50 Cent has been escorted with. Most of these artists are affiliated with police officers. There's nothing wrong with that. But what we are saying is, yes, 50 Cent has changed his whole script. He has changed his whole script up. He's not a gangster rap anymore. He's putting out documentaries that are helping keep Sean Diddy Combs off the streets. Now, if you ask me, this was a poor move by 50. And I'm going to say 50, it's not anything that Sean Diddy Combs had to lose other than $500 million. I don't think he's losing that anytime soon. But 50 Cent had his credibility to lose, and he lost it all, letting people know every single details that we already basically knew. He reiterated and made sure that Sean Diddy Combs is going to have a tough time getting out of prison. And I think he interviewed all types of bodyguards and, did anything he could possibly do to just discredit his own self, thinking he was going to discredit Sean Diddy Combs' credibility is on one crutch at this point. That was not there. He does not have the credibility that he used to have. So 50 Cent then now entangled his own self. That is correct. 50 Cent entangled his own self just by mentioning his name. If you even right now, what I'm doing, it is entangling yourself with that name. If you Google it now, this live might come up. So in a sense, but you think about 50 and what he had to lose as a rich individual. Obviously, Photography Plug is on the grind and we're just coming up. But just imagine if you were a multi-millionaire and you did 200 different shows. Yes, you did 200 different shows, but we have about 5,000 different videos. I just wanted to put that out there. But just imagine you're a multi-millionaire, record sale, and all you had to do is just sit at home, wear your suits, and maybe pass a few notes back and forth with your beautiful Cuban link. If they're even together anymore, I don't even think they're even together anymore. So what a great documentary, but it did not give 50 Cent any type of credibility. And I'm sure he's not going to make much money off of that documentary that seemed pleasurized. I mean, a lot of the points of the documentary seemed like reruns from 1996, almost like he can even put Tupac Shakur or somebody in there and don't even have the copyrights to use it. I'm sure Netflix had a field day with this, putting out this documentary. But obviously, Netflix is not an individual person. It's a corporation. But 50 Cent's name is an individual person. So we think about 50 and we think about everything that he put in this documentary. If you wrote it all down, he put about a scroll. If this could be used in the court of law, it probably is admissible, but could probably be used in the court of law by saying that Sean Diddy Combs is still a threat. 50 Cent, the gangster rapper, said it. Then he received these flowers out in Miami. After he received the flowers in Miami, 50 Cent, yes, he received the flowers and said he think this is funny. But if you look at the pictures of the flowers, you can see very clear that those are daisies. If you have any inkling of an idea of mafia lifestyle, if you know your computer, you Google what does daisies mean, that means pushing up daisies. In other words, Sean Diddy Combs is living up to the name. If Sean Diddy Combs really sent those flowers, and those flowers are daisies, my friends, that is not, excuse me, beautiful. I'm sorry, guys. If Sean Diddy Combs is, God, yes, if Sean Diddy Combs is is now incarcerated, and 50 Cent does nothing more or nothing less just to continuously talk about Sean Diddy Combs back and forth, over and over and over again. You have to say to yourself, like, why would 50 Cent try to be a prosecutor? Maybe he's running for local New York district attorney. I mean, that's what it seems like. I mean, if you think about all the artists that Sean Diddy Combs, if you think about, I'll be answering some of these comments, but if you think about all of the artists that Sean Diddy Combs signed, really and truly had nowhere and no place to be in the industry. G-Dep. I mean, G-Dep was a half-baked rapper. I mean, that is just a reality. G-Dep was not a very good. Black Rob was lucky to ever be on anybody's record. And I know it was a lot of hype back then, but everybody, if you was around back then, we was looking like Black Rob and G-Dep. Okay, they're all right. I mean, Biggie Smalls obviously one of the more influential rappers of all time. But other than that, G-Dep and these other rappers are just Craig Mack. I mean, Craig Mack played out in 1994. How do I know? I remember. Craig Mack was not a relevant rapper in 94. Those rappers back then, they played out real fast because it was lack of social media. There was not huge Craig Mack fans. There's no fan base of Craig Mack still sticking around today. That's a reality. So nice, crispy Saturday night. We have a small crowd in here tonight. We're trying to move that needle towards 200,000. So you can always support us at Photography Plug, $ at Photography Plug, $ at Photography Plug. That is Cash App. So remember, it's tough out here for black entrepreneurs. I hope you're having a great Christmas. Hope you're having great holidays. It is a amazing Saturday night. Nice, cool, crispy Saturday night. Gentleman across the street, he's nice bar here. He's selling hot dogs. We got a nice club environment, and more so like DC, Maryland type of vibe. We'll go down there and check it out and see what's going on in a few minutes. Guys, so yes, this documentary that came out is actually let me step up here. This documentary that came out is actually one of the better documentaries. Very long and drawn out, and did not benefit. Excuse me. The documentary really did not benefit 50 Cent. I can't see why he would put himself out like that. Maybe he's changing his idea of a career. Obviously, he can't be a young gangster rapper anymore. 50 Cent is 50 years old. And that is just a reality out there. Wow, you could still sell records. This is a new generation. I mean, age means nothing, but at the same time, it's magical. It's everything. And when you're not that young gangster, you think about 50 Cent not being convicted of a felony, or 50 Cent not really, being on the offense. I mean, he's been on defense for a very long time. 50 has been on defense for a very long time. Even when 50 Cent was shot, that was a big thing of his career. And I can remember the movement, very big movement 50 Cent had. A lot of people followed 50. A lot of people like his music, and people still like 50. We're not saying he doesn't have diehard fans, because he does. But one thing that he did do was lose a ton of credibility with this new Sean Diddy Combs documentary. Yeah, he put himself out there in a situation where, yes, 50 Cent looks like he's telling a lot more than you would ever think that a gangster should ever tell in his life. I thought if it was a stand, 50 probably will raise his hand and go on the stand. No, this is not actually snitching. This is more so a rat. Unfortunately, that is what it is. It's a rat. Nice SRT. That's an RT. It's Hellcat out here tonight. Very beautiful, cozy night here tonight. If you're at home, I would like to say you're probably in a good place because it's very cold out here. You can always go to $ at photography plug at Cash App. Yes, I hope you're enjoying the artificial intelligence that we got. Really enjoy the artificial. I'm really enjoying the artificial intelligence that's going on with YouTube. YouTube is a great platform. Obviously, they allow that amazing artificial intelligence, ideas after ideas after ideas. We always want to be first in America. That's what we try to take our pride on. We used to always be first. Nice, cool, nice bars out here. You can see it's a bar in the corner here, a bar there, a bar down the street. There's bars everywhere. People are out enjoying themselves. If you're out enjoying yourself, or you're at home in a cozy place. So yes, 50 Cent dropped this documentary, Tell All, about Sean Diddy Combs. In regards, I guess, regardless of his kids trying to wait on him to get home, I think 50 entangled himself, and he said it's funny that he got sent flowers. And you think about people saying, well, yes, it's funny you got sent flowers. Well, I would think 50 Cent would have picked up on that real quick. Like, hold on, these are not normal flowers. These are daisies. That means something. I don't think he's seen the symbolism when he tweeted, when he put it on X and let the world see it. He said it's funny how he sent them flowers. I didn't even know that was legal, him being able to send flowers from prison. I guess he can do anything he wants to do if he can get in contact with someone. Where's he going to be at? He's going to be at that club. Get him some flowers. And I guess that's a sign. If somebody can touch you with flowers, it can do anything to you. So Sean Diddy Combs is living up to the name. He is living up to that notorious name. Like 50 Cent said, he could be involved in Tupac Shakur's assassination. You have to understand, back then, Biggie Smalls was on everybody's list. And I'm talking about everybody's list. And I do mean everybody's list. And Tupac Shakur was on everybody's list. It was probably his age. And Keefe D seems to be a credible witness against himself. I don't think Sean Diddy Combs is going to go down for because Keefe D said something. I don't think Keefe D is credible in any courthouse who tells on their self and just comes out and say, hey, I did it. What would be the reason? I mean, alcoholism, drug abuse, maybe ghosts start haunting him. Maybe he heard about Tupac Shakur and he wanted to take the credit. I think Max B's new album, very good album, but I think he was really saying a lot of what he was saying was kind of like, how was he saying it? Like the way he was incarcerated, they was treating him like Keefe D, the one that killed Tupac Shakur. So, that is a very interesting subject. What 50 Cent is talking about, all of those details that happened with Sean Diddy Combs. One thing that I would like to say personally, if you think about it, how many people that was there at a P. Diddy party and was trying to get into the back, spending their money or spending their time, that American dream, and not knowing what's going on in the back. I don't think the majority of people had any idea what Sean Diddy Combs was up to. A lot of the stories that I personally heard was off of coworkers talking about it and actually being accurate. I don't know how coworkers know so much, but the streets talk, and the streets was talking about Sean Diddy Combs being played like a instrument. This what people were talking about, and a lot of times I would hear a lot of chitter chatter and wouldn't believe it. Obviously, you wouldn't believe those type of things going on, especially if you have access to all these beautiful women. You would never think that Sean Diddy Combs would be up to something so horrific and so institutionalized when he was free. I think a lot of things that Sean Diddy Combs was doing was something somebody would do if they was institutionalized. Who in the world would be involved in that type of stuff? And you have all of these beautiful women, at your leisure. I don't think anybody could ever see that coming. as far as Sean Diddy Combs. People with the right frame of mind would had no idea that Sean Diddy Combs was doing any of these things, and I think it did shock the majority of people. I think most people were saying, and that is a cool jacket. But most people was saying that yes, this is a shock. And it was a shock. And I think it still is a shock. And some of this information that people didn't know about was a shock. But when you enter a gangster lifestyle like a Tupac Shakur or Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G., they didn't call him Notorious for no reason. When you enter these type of lifestyles, everybody knows the consequences of what it comes with. So I don't think it was a shock that Tupac Shakur ended up like he did. I don't think it's a shock that Sean Diddy Combs' name was a part of the whole ordeal. I don't think it's a shock that even that they're saying that Biggie, Sean Diddy Combs didn't pay for Biggie's funeral. I mean, I think the average gangster doesn't even know really how to pay for a funeral like Sean Diddy Combs. If you are at your workplace and you die, you might not know that your workplace has insurance on you. So that could be a factor of anything that you're talking about. And when you're talking about a CEO of a company, when you talk about CEOs of companies, they have that right to take insurance out on you without you even knowing. You pass away, your job gets $1 million because they have to find somebody else. Maybe they get a little bit too much. We know big corporations win, so I'm not sure if Sean Diddy Combs did anything wrong by figuring out a way to pay for Biggie Smalls' funeral. I mean, he could have been one of those guys that just couldn't figure it out and had his mama pay for it. So, I think it was a thing of, at the same time, greed, which you think about how 50 Cent made this documentary like Sean Diddy Combs did every single crime since 1996. I mean, I'm sure somebody in New York City is breaking the law right now. I'm sure it's a record exec doing something that they're not supposed to be doing. I'm sure that Sean Diddy Combs is probably not the single person in New York City that ever broke a law. I'm sure something is going on in New York City that we all don't know about tonight. The district attorney probably knows, the federal bureau knows, but Sean Diddy Combs can't be guilty of every single crime since 1996. So I think 50 Cent overplayed this documentary by trying his best to paint Sean Diddy Combs as notorious as he is. Now we can call him Notorious Diddy. Now we could say, well, a person, I have to say, in a sense, it was an individual very close to me. And they actually, I don't know how to say in an honest way, probably was incarcerated with John Gotti. Let's just say that. Your credibility is there in the streets. If you're ever incarcerated with these big time guys, your credibility is not with the district attorney. Your credibility is not with the state police. Your credibility is in the streets. And that is a reality of the credibility that 50 Cent would be in the streets. I couldn't see 50 Cent saying, no, I'm a great district attorney. But watching this documentary made it seem and look like 50 Cent is going to be the next top cop in New York City. And that is that beautiful Hellcat coming right back through, guys. With beautiful Saturday night, you can always go to Photography Plug at IG, and you can go to $ at Photography Plug and Cash App and support this black entrepreneur. As I know you love I know you love the contents of the content that we put out, because guys, we're getting really close to 100 million, and we greatly appreciate everybody supporting Photography Plug. Somebody just commented and said they seen the documentary too. Shouts out to you. Yes, that documentary had a lot of people thinking like 50 Cent what were you thinking? Are you out of your mind? You don't have district attorney blood in you, do you? You know, some people were saying, God, 50, what are you really up to? I mean, who are you really talking to? I mean, was it that bad? I mean, it couldn't have been too serious as far as 50 Cent and Cuban Link. You know, 50 Cent and Cuban Link, he never even proposed or wasn't getting married. And it was none of that. It seemed like like two kids dating at high school is how 50 Cent kind of was handling that relationship. So it couldn't have been about an ex that Sean Diddy Combs was with. We know that all these beautiful women are, in a sense, shared. We're not saying that it's wrong or it's right, but we're saying that it couldn't have been from that. I just think 50 Cent is a person that was trying to get more attention that he didn't need. And unfortunately, after he received those flowers, then yes, he probably is going to end up in a worse situation than he was if he just didn't put the documentary out. I mean, it has people chitter chatting, but do you really think people are going to Netflix like they used to be going to Netflix 10 years ago? Do you actually believe that people are watching 50 Cent shows like they were 10 years ago? Maybe they are, maybe they're not. Probably not. You know, more people are leaning towards social media now. It's not like he's coming up with a whole nother platform. I mean, then he turns around and says, well, he's got 300 shows, and most of these social media lights have like 30,000 videos. So that's not really saying, okay, I'm ahead of the game. I don't think 50 Cent is really ahead of the game like he used to be, and he's trying to get that traction again. But his cleats are just full of mud, and he's slipping on that football field is actually what 50 is doing. I mean, you got to say that, wow, 50, you took a whole 360. Matter of fact, where are your handcuffs at? Matter of fact, where are, how many people have you incarcerated? Because this new documentary that you put out is showing one thing, and that only thing is this, that yes, 50 Cent is now top cop in New York City. I'm gonna read some of these comments and just let me know what you think about 50 Cent playing a whole new role. This role is not in this new movie. This role is how he put together so well a prosecutable case against Sean Diddy Combs that now is all admissible. It can't be used in the courthouse. At the end of the day, you know that Diddy did everything that he said he did. There's no defending that. Yes, I can say that, okay, whatever, let's say John Gotti did, we could say, yeah, he probably did it, but I'm not the one who's going to say it. I mean, yes, we're not defending what he did or what he didn't do. I'm simply saying that yes, Sean Diddy, 50 Cent didn't have to discredit himself and pull himself into the mix and put out the information from 50. We expected that to come from the district attorney and not 50 Cent. So I'm not defending what Sean Diddy come. You know, I don't hang out with young guys. Let's be straight up. We're gonna have a real conversation here tonight. I don't hang out with young guys, and you know the reason is because 9 times out of 10, and that idea is what? That yes, 9 times out of 10, they're a little fruity. They haven't found themselves. So when I was hanging with my coworkers said, hey man, come hang out with me, come party with me. No, I'm not going over to your house and go to party with you, because I kind of know that you might be a little fruity. So Sean Diddy Combs is not the only one in this world that's doing that. What's going on? Have you ever been to Atlanta? Have you ever been, do you know what the people are doing? We don't have idea, and I'm just guessing what those gentlemen were probably doing. I have no idea what they're doing. You probably have no idea. We can only guess. So we know that, yes, Sean Diddy Combs is more than likely guilty of everything that they're saying, but we did not expect the top cop to be 50 Cent. I'm still for people to uh, I'm still for people to actually tell me what Puff actually done wrong. Seems like everybody comes to him for BS. One of the commenters said, and this is Murder 100. He said, I'm still for people to actually tell me what they're saying that Puffy actually was transporting, he was pimping and prostituting in the case that he paid about $30 million. So a lot of the stuff he was doing was what we were saying ethically wrong. I don't really know if it was against the law, but I can say it was against probably the Quran for sure, and it was against the Bible. So it was ethically wrong what Sean Diddy Combs was doing. But I don't think it was actual all crimes. So yes, very good point. Very good point. And somebody said P. Diddy is never getting out of jail. I think that was a very good comment right there. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit. But one commenter said P. Diddy is never getting out of jail. I did hear that rumor that Sean Diddy Combs may never be free again. I'm guessing they're saying, yes, 50 Cent puts out all of this evidence, which is not new evidence. Sean Diddy Combs is not going to court with Keefe D. It's not going to happen. Keefe D told on himself. He's not even credible to bring a 500 millionaire to court. Keefe D is so bad of a defendant that they'll probably give him 20 years. He's so bad. So Keefe D is probably drug addicted, ex-gang member. I mean, in the courthouse, Keefe D. Now, maybe on the streets, Keefe D might have pulled a trigger, and it might have been Tupac Shakur. But Keefe D, nobody can even blame Keefe. Nobody even knows if Keefe D is even really telling the truth. He's rattled. His gray hairs are everywhere. When he comes in the courthouse, he looks a mess. When he's in the jail cell, he looks a mess. He doesn't even have any credibility with the inmates, and he doesn't even have no pull with the guards. So what do you think Keefe D has with the judge? Nothing. And Keefe D is dead broke. So we're talking about a broke individual. We're talking about a broke individual that is not even, the only thing they're going to do is say, okay, you say you killed Tupac Shakur, guilty or not. They're ready to kick Keefe D out the jailhouse. That's bad of not even, he's a bad almost inmate. There is good inmates and bad inmates. This is beautiful. Look at this right here. We can look that way too a little bit. I can't wait till we get to Miami. But yes, just imagine the leisure that Sean Diddy Combs had. Just imagine the amount of beautiful women. I can remember going to it wasn't a Diddy party, but it was a Diddy concert. No idea what was going on in the back, if anything at all, but no idea that Sean Diddy Combs was doing these things that people are alleging that he did. Trump will let him out and he will be back. I don't think, one of the commenters said Trump will let him out of jail. I think his release date is like in 6 months or a year or something like that. But I did hear rumors that he could be re-indicted. And 50 Cent tried his best to get him re-indicted. 50 Cent's record label is nowhere near what Sean Diddy Combs is. 50 Cent signed Young Buck, and Young Buck was allegedly with transgenders. And then he had Lloyd Banks. Lloyd Banks was a good rapper, never sold any records. Then he had Tony Yayo, and Tony Yayo was uh, never sold any records. For sure, Tony Yayo didn't sell. He was a good street guy. And Tony Yayo made some good memes. So Tony Yayo is known for memes now. We're talking about current events and we're being real. Just like statistics when we talk about players, we have to be honest. Now, is Tony Yayo a good guy? Yes. Is he an amazing person? Yes. But statistically, he hasn't sold any records. So Tony Yayo was not a good pick for a record label. G Dep really didn't do much at all. Uh, Black Rob, if you put all of those records, Black Rob records, G Dep, Craig Mack, you're talking about probably 10 million records. So at the most, every last record those guys sold. Now 50 Cent sold a lot. Go Shorty, It's Your Birthday. But everybody else on his record label, he's not a Sean Diddy Combs. He's not a great record exec. He didn't put out a whole bunch of great music. He didn't have Biggie Smalls. All he had was himself and Go Shorty, It's Your Birthday, and a whole bunch of documentaries that your ex-girlfriend sits down and watch and think is good. But right now, 50 Cent's career is just like his suit, tacky. And that is just the truth, guys. Somebody said, shout out Tony Yayo. Yeah, shout out to Tony Yayo. I think Tony Yayo made sure, and Tony Yayo talked a lot about 50 Cent and how they went overseas and did all this stuff. And I was thinking to myself, I said, Tony Yayo, you can do it yourself. You don't need 50 to go overseas. Listen, if you go overseas, Japan or anywhere, they already like, the average person is almost a celebrity, especially if you're black in Japan, right? Because they're not used to seeing black people. So it's not necessarily like you go overseas and you get treated like America. No, you go overseas and everybody that from America is American is a celebrity. So it's not necessarily Tony Yayo needed 50 Cent to go and get a VIP room. You can get your own VIP room, Tony Yayo. You know, I don't care. You can get your own women. You could do it yourself. But Tony Yayo's nose is always all the way up 50 Cent. Like he owes 50 Cent $100 million. I'm sure Tony Yayo probably didn't net 2 or 3 million. And I can't see why. Yes, even if somebody lets you use 700,000, you got to say, heck yeah. But you don't have to be loyal to that person for infinity, because do you think that if the New England Patriots signed somebody for $700 or $2 million, that 20 years later, that person is still so loyal to the New England Patriots? No, they moved and they got another better contract with another team. So Tony Yayo wasn't able to get signed anywhere else. Tony Yayo was so terrible of an artist that he was never able to nobody wanted to sign Tony Yayo, Lloyd Banks, or Young Buck was the only one that had a chance to get. Probably Atlantic Records might pick him up for Twinkie and a soda. But these guys are not huge record sellers. They're not Taylor Swift. This is not Sabrina Carpenter, and they're not sold out Eminem. These guys probably sold enough records to buy probably a house in Durham, North Carolina or something. But they definitely don't got no money. So Lloyd Banks and Tony Yayo, that's why I'm able to go into American streets. And if I was in New York City, I could interview 50 and I can go to sleep right here on the curve because nothing is going to happen. He's a district attorney now. So those years that 50 Cent was only feared from people who must have didn't know him well, because the only person to seem to ever respect 50 Cent is Tony Yayo. You don't need to be Taylor Swift to make money. That is true, but we're talking statistics. And that was a very good comment. I greatly appreciate your comment. Somebody said you don't need to be Taylor Swift to make money. And I think that is very true. Selling records, very, very important. Very, 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 very important. You do not have to be Taylor Swift to sell records. 50 Cent sold records. But Tony Yayo didn't sell no records. Lloyd Banks was in his room with his headphones on putting together lyrics that was never going to be heard from anybody. I mean, Lloyd Banks was probably one of the worst players. If Lloyd Banks was in the NBA, I would have to say he would not have made the team because he never came out of his room and professed it himself. He was stuck in the room trying to be the best rapper in the world and ended up with a whole bunch of verses that never would sell or make a dollar. That is just the truth. If you tune in, you're tuned in to the Photography Plug. This is about capitalism. This is about money. The marquee tonight is 50 Cent's new district attorney role in New York City, trying to hold Sean Diddy Combs. We're not defending anything he done, but we do realize that this man has a family. I don't know what these people do when they go home. It's none of my business. But if I tell you what they do, now I'm an informant. It's none of my business what Sean Diddy Combs was doing with whoever or whatever he was doing. It's none of my business, and it's not my business to tell. But if they come out and they say, well, this is the information, well, we'll give it to you then. But we're not going to be the first ones in saying that Sean Diddy Combs had something to do with Tupac Shakur's death. He never came out of his room. How did he get shot? No, we're talking about Lloyd Banks, was known for writing all these raps that hummed together and never sold any real records. I don't think Lloyd Banks might have went gold if 50 Cent bought 250,000 of those copies. Nobody, a lot of street guys was probably listening to Lloyd Banks. But Lloyd Banks was not a major artist ever in life. And Tony Yayo was never a major deal. The only deal was 50 Cent. And we have to say 50 Cent was a major artist. Yes, we have to agree and say, yes, he was a marquee artist. And that's why we're all kind of shocked about 50 Cent. We're all kind of shocked about how 50 Cent was, tell. Now, you probably say, well, Photography Plug, you tell it, well, listen, we never prosecuted anybody. And we're not interested in prosecuting people. In other words, Sean Diddy Combs, now you could say Sean Diddy Combs is incarcerated. And we could say 50 Cent was playing a part. He was playing a part, very much of a part, that very part of a prosecutor. That is just the truth of the matter. This dude is Tony Yayo's. Somebody, that was a good comment. I won't repeat it, but funny comment. Greatly appreciate your comments. This is about capitalism. I greatly appreciate everybody supporting the Photography Plug. We do go live. We're going to try to start going live a little bit more because the lives is what really gets the subscribers and get people involved. Not the rails, yes, but the lives, if you will, go to our rails, check them out. You always go to $ at Photography Plug, at Cash App. You can donate right now. That'll be wonderful if you support Black entrepreneurship. Hey, man, my dad just died 3 hours ago, and I watch you, Tom. I get some active advice. Help. Somebody just commented and they said their father just passed away 3 hours ago. Now, one thing I would like to say is rest in peace to your father. I'm sure he was a great person, and that's probably why you mentioned him. I know that you're probably going through a lot tonight. I know that it's weighing on you and it's heavy, and I know the pain is intense. My father is still alive, and I'm glad that my father is alive. I have to be honest with you. My father did a lot of time in prison, and we don't get along. And I had a best friend of mine. His father passed away. It hurt him so dearly. And I'm still sad about his father passing. And I would just like to say, if I had any advice to you, is to pray, but to know that one thing is for sure, and two things are for certain, is that one day we're all going to go. Goodness gracious almighty. I don't mean to be cutting your father out, but those are some beautiful women right there. goodness gracious, it's hard to be the photography plug sometimes, but we're going to make sure that we can't just go in a club live like this anyway. But yes, if you're going through it tonight and your father passed away, I'm very sorry for your loss. Rest in peace to your father. I want you to know that we're all going to pass away. That's why you see me live a lot. That's why you see me talking about things and document myself. And I want you to document yourself. Hopefully you documented your father. And hopefully you talk about your father in a way that's going to reflect the family in a positive light. Because your father had you for a reason. He had you because you're a very special person. You're so much of a special person, you decided to mention his name after he passed away. Many people don't mention their father's name. And I think in any community, that's very important. We have to all respect our fathers. My father dropped me off to work and he cussed me out the whole time. I didn't want to drive my car because I don't like tearing my car up. And plus, to be honest, I didn't know exactly where I was going. So, you know, sometimes we have to just listen and let them talk junk and remember the memories that really when your father held you and your father, you was a kid and he threw that ball to you, even if he was an absentee father, however he was a great father. He was a person that God loved. We all are short of what God wants us to be. We can't be perfect. So my heart is with you. Rest in peace to your father. I hope that you understand that everybody out here, we're all going to die one day. It'll be a tragic story for everybody slowly. And that's just a reality, whatever it is. I seen a woman today, she was 90-some odd years old. A beautiful woman. She's 95, she's 98 years old. And she was buying cigarettes. And she parked all in front. And I thought to myself, it's no telling where you're going to go. It doesn't matter if you smoke or drink or do anything. You can run 10 miles and it could be your day today or tonight. So rest in peace to your father. You keep your head up and you don't let anybody tell you that your father wasn't a great person. And you tell the truth about your relationship with your father, whether it was good or bad, whether you loved him or you hated him, whether you played or you didn't play. Every story is important. So rest in peace to your father. Keep your head up, brother. Thank you. He would very much appreciate your condolence, and you are helping me a ton, man. Yes, rest in peace to your father. He was an amazing person. He was a person that God made. None of us made him. He made you. He did his job because you are here. Your voice is heard, and your father will be proud of you, of anything that you accomplish. Sometimes they don't tell you. Sometimes they talk junk, but they're there. My father, one day, he wouldn't take me to work, but my car was having a little trouble cranking, but he got to jumper cables. It was another person that was moving towards helping me get to work. He was moving towards another, you know, sometimes it ain't nobody that's going to help you move. But my father was there helping me, trying to just jump the cables off because he's older. So that is a reality. That is a reality of the fact. And that is a sad thing that we all have to go one day. So none of us are we could create people, almost clone or whatever you want to call it. We could clone people, but we can't create the squirrels, and we can't create everything, and we can't live forever. That's the point that I'm making. We can't live forever. Bro, got that ass. I love you, my OG. Shouts out to you. Love you too. Rest in peace to your pops. Somebody shouted out your pops. Bro must be Toronto. I wish I was in Toronto. I wish that I was in Toronto. I mean, I would say I wish I was in Toronto in a cozy house. You don't want to be in Toronto in any type of situation. So yes, wonderful chat that we had tonight. We're going to try to go live, but we're talking about that marquee tonight, and it is about that 50 Cent being. Yes, 50 Cent trying to be the next top cop, New York City, by putting out this documentary for no apparent reason. Sean Diddy Combs' credibility is probably at an all-time low, except in the penitentiary. Now, Sean Diddy Combs is a sound, excuse me, Sean Diddy Combs is a sound criminal. Guys, we ain't never been to Rikers Island. I hope you guys haven't, but basically that's where he's at. Rikers Island. He's close to that. Just imagine being in, he's at a federal camp now, but just imagine being in that jail for 3 months, a week, 2 weeks. Guys, when you experience that, you will have a story to tell. It's so cold out here tonight. I'm not going to be able to stay live long. I got to go to head home. Guys, I appreciate you staying live with me tonight. Y'all have a wonderful night. Peace.